Wow, do you know what all those are? Those little tunnels there, they're like in Star Wars. They're little sand monsters. They're called ant lions, and they live at the bottom with big old pinchers, and they make that hole so that when an ant is traveling along here and it falls down, they slip down and get eaten. Sometimes, yeah, you can trigger them off. I don't know if you can see that. Drop low. Grains. I'm destroying a lot of their hard work. We'll go rock hounding. We are out on Putah Creek. Okay, there's my first little piece. Pretty sure I can see the lip of translucence in some of its fractures, and it's got the right grain, so into the bucket it goes. Pretty small little piece, I admit. But starts to let our eyes see the rest of it. Man, it really hides as one of the more grainy serpentines. And it's not. It's the good stuff. I believe we have another one here. Yeah, I'm willing to invest the time into slicing that for sure, and then we'll look through it. I figure we'll go ahead and cut these instead of breaking them, because every time you hit them they get more fractured. A piece of jazz baguette here. Into the bucket with you. Oh, right over here, glowing. I can see another piece of it. Pretty darn sure. Man, it's hard to tell. It could just be a really nice looking piece of kind of cloudy, milky, non-translucent serpentine. Oh, look at this big old piece of agate goodness. Kind of a milky pink. Wow. That is definitely something to check out. I'm not sure if it's a super green shirt or I gathered up this piece of cool jasper. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out on this particular camera. I can't do close-ups, but look at the gold in that. That's a nice piece. And then I believe this to be another piece, but as it is getting super hot, I need to get the dogs out of here because there was no water when we got down here. Let me show you these. Are pieces of this broken gray stone that I find that I swear are tools. But everybody is obsidian obsessed, and this stuff breaks very sharp. So I think that some of them, that might be one of the biggest I've ever found. That's like a you know, a butcher knife. And then lots of these, which remind me of anything that I would see. This is your typical hand knife shape. A big conchoidal fracture on one side that's then had a bunch of secondary naps around it and made into a little knife if it was obsidian. So I don't know. Okay, the dogs ran down to the mud pit and they are doing horrible things in the mud over there. Now they have to climb into my vehicle. Ah, there's another piece for sure. See, it just glows. This one has some beautiful light green marbling in it. Yeah. Cool. Just dashing out today to get out. We're having 113-degree days. And oh, here's a big old piece. I do believe. Oh, we'll bring it home anyways because it kind of had the look. We gotta be disappointed a few times. Just keep spraying here. We got about 5 more minutes. The dogs ran off. They came up like kids will do and said, "Are we leaving?" And I said, "Sure," and then they ran back off. So we have a couple more minutes. And I think I see a couple more now pieces here. Yep, that has that right grain to it. Oh man, I love this stuff so much. Now I think I can just see the texture, like how you can see agate texture. I think there's one there. That might be a piece. It's about the texture. The texture is about the micro crystals that you're seeing. That looks like a piece. It's small enough to throw in the bucket for sure. So many gray stones. See, that one just turned gray. Look at the crazy swirls in the bottom of this one. What? The lines. That is really cool. Oh man. Low brain power for the narration right now. For sure. Total rock. But we might learn some new things. It's really hard to tell, but we might learn some new things by picking up rocks that are like it and cutting them. You never know. Lots of jaspers, but with limited time. Dogs? I see him in the shade over there. I guess we better go. I thought they had climbed inside of a dried out beaver hole, which are over there too. And that's one. Okay, that's gonna be it. Oh, except for that one, for sure. It's kind of a blue-gray. But we're gonna go put this stuff in the bucket, and then we're gonna go back and have a shop day in the cool shade of the rock shop. It's got a cement floor, so there's some mercy in it. Okay. Oh, don't break each other. It's not bad. That was a 20-minute wander. And the wind is blowing a little bit at this location, so that's a good thing. And you never know, one of those might be a big chunk. Okay, dogs, let's go. Okay, more walking back. I believe those are big old pieces. Okay, so what we have here is our pile of, I am really sure because I checked the edges and just because their color and everything else, including this, our Super Gigantea. I am super stoked about this one, just mind blowing. We have this that I picked up that I thought was, but I'm not sure. So, gotta check it. Gotta check this one, I have my doubts. Gotta check this one, I have my doubts. That looks pretty good. This one, not. This one's a jerk. But these, we need to... Some of these I'm really sure they're thin enough to light. The rest of these we need to take some good slices off of to look through. When I go out to the saw and do that, you're invited along. And then we'll switch to the other camera and get some close-ups and put some light through these and see what kinds of beautiful greens we have found in that water. But... green gold. These are running the high end of a, it's listed as a 5.5 on the Mohs scale, but these are running the high end of that, the super crystally purity. But they are coming out of one of the deepest, biggest, it's the biggest river that I know of in the serpentine belt that I am in, within 50 miles of me for sure. So between Cache and Putah, those are the two that touch upon these layers. So we have quite the source. Okay, so what I did is I went out and I did not cut every bit of it up into slices, but I did cut almost every single stone except for the ones that I could put a flashlight to and see that they were already translucent just because of their thinness that they came at. A lot of them I just took the ends off, got thin slices to show you, and basically just proofing each stone. So take a little butt cut off of each one as thin as I can, and then that allows you a little thin piece and edge to put a flashlight to and get some translucence to show up. So all of these here are bowenite, and the coolest part about that is that these were all found within a quarter mile of where we are standing right now. So I can finally hunt bowenite at home on my dog walks. It turns out that it is in a lot of the rivers where there are serpentine, the serpentine belt of California, probably the entire Ring of Fire, you can get this bowenite. Which is a rare strip in the overall geography of the planet. The serpentine ends up being more rare, is what they say in the books overall. So in those areas, though, you can find this form of it. It's about 5.5 on the Mohs scale is what this is running at. And I figure that we will go through with the flashlight. I have tape put on here. I'm going to get one of those little pinpointing flashlights so I can look deeper into these in the field. But for now I have it focused down with some electrical tape so that the beam is smaller, so I won't be blinding myself and you when we are looking at it. And these were fails, and then I cut up one of our pieces of jasper. But we have that much to go through, and some big pieces that we got out of it, and then all of these little cute pieces. And for this, I'm going to switch to the Sony Handycam. This is where I get my close-ups on. For big, wide-open shots, it tends to be a little bit grainier because it's 760, so it's a standard definition. So it is fine for close-ups, so that's how I brought you all these close-ups, and the GoPro that you're being recorded on now does not do that. So with no further ado, we're going to switch to this camera, put some light behind these. I'll show you these wet, and then we will backlight them because that's how they're best viewed. And I guess on with the show. This is it. So we have switched over to this camera now. I'll turn that one off. And yes, that is the head off of a kick drum. Whoa! Okay. They make good dishes. They also make good sifters. I used a big ring to put 1/4-inch screen across and use as my sifter. Anyhow, look at all this. These are all pieces. Nice, beautiful little pebbles. These are the ones you can actually pass light through. Right. One of the things that I like to do to my rocks is, most people don't know it, but Roundup has these awesome chemicals in it that allow you to polish your rocks. No, I'm just kidding, it's water. That's my mystifier. I'm Mr. when I go out to very hot places. Bring one of those with you for 15 bucks and you can keep yourself cool. But this allows us to look at all the different shades because the surfaces have as many different colors to them as the serpentine itself, and I thought that that was interesting. And then of course the mixes of the colors that are coming out are blowing my mind, because of course we found like 4 big borders before this, and so each one of them had slightly different patterning and coloring. Now each one of these probably came off of a whole separate border in time, and each one of them has a different patterning to it, a different mix of the light greens and the blacks modeled through it. Some of them with iron staining is just a pretty cool thing. Yes, we're going to do that part in the dark, but I just wanted to show you. Oohs and ahs. Yeah, so each one's incredibly different. Literally, you can see in this one that we were just looking through the different light patterns. Remember, these are all just rough cut right off the saw. Just pushed them through. And that one goes with this piece. And then off of this piece, this one looked different. This one looked harder. This one had these kind of inclusions, these iron inclusions. And wow, is it different. And that one, and look at this one. Look at the mix in here. It's basically what the surface of it looks like. When I get this backlit, it's just a different creature altogether. Moved into the other room, but just the reds that came through into this one are really awesome. And that's actually 2 thin pieces overlap there a little bit, so I'm not blinding you. But just totally different creature altogether. Put a thicker piece of it on here. So each piece is as individual as an agate or anything else can get, and the different ways that it forms, and things that happen to it. But yeah, so that was the end slabs off of that piece. So we are getting some big old combos of it out of here, and eventually there'll be a boulder, because wherever there's little fish there's big fish. But each single one of these is a different shade, a different mix, and a different coloration, and they are all bowenite. So that one's different right there for sure. Whole different creature. Some of these are thicker, so it's about like that. So these are, it's a type of material that's best made into something that's backlit. And that piece is what it looks like before. None of these have had any mineral oil or anything applied to them, which soaks in and definitely helps with the translucence, just as the water does for sure. Probably turn this bigger light off here. Get more of a show going on. Yeah, so some of these have more cloudy areas. I don't want to be deceptive because some of these slabs are way thicker than the others, and so that's why they're less translucent. We're just mostly going for the proofing of each stone. So some of these, like this one, I did not cut it all because it's just a perfect pebble reduced down. Someone who carves stone, like myself or anyone else, could just work with that shape. So I didn't want to reduce it at all, and I was able to see. It's going to be hard to show here. When you put it on the edge of the thing, you can get some translucence from it. That's why you could actually hunt this stuff like you hunt jade with a super strong light, because it's clear enough. So I'm just leaving pieces like that whole and trying to take just the most basic ends off of them. This one I gave a little slice to check it. Here's another just total pure nugget. Put this one on there. You see what I mean about the variation in colors and patterns? And each one just, wow. So that's kind of the fun of hunting them out of a big field here. We're not getting the biggest slices of stock, but the variety is insane. And so after I do these test cuts on each one of these, this is from this piece here, then I will wrap them in a piece of old newspaper or something, and wrap them together, wrap the pieces with that, and then put that away in my stockpile, knowing that I have proofed them. Yeah, look at that. So this one is just your traditional blue, green. That's a thicker slab too, so its translucence is higher. You can see it's going almost into, well, it just has that jade look. That's why this gets used all the time as a replacement for jade. There's the butt cut on that. I believe these are pieces of it because I broke it in the field. Shame on me. Boo. But had to know that we were onto it. It was one of the first ones that I got. I wanted to confirm by being able to hold it up to the light, and it allowed us to prospect all the rest of these. Wow, right? Very translucent. So this is a high grade, and yeah, you could make a cab that thick and hold it up to the light. Different mineral. Oh, really stoked with that. Let's turn this bigger light off. I'm really ruining the show with all that. Yeah. Okay. Pretty solid. Let's see what it looks like over the flame. Ooh. You could say a little less translucent, although it's like a hair thicker. And I would give up that for the color change. See how it went to the apple, the more yellow green instead of the blue green. Oh, this is gorgeous stuff. So you wait here. See, that's what you guys are. These are some pretty uniform little slabs there. Oh, that was the next slab down. Supposed to be that hair thinner. Oh, wow. I hope you're enjoying this. I never know how much is enough visual gratification. I don't want to deny you the good slow look that I'm going to take at each one of these several times. But I also don't want to bore you. So I appreciate it if you've watched this point of the video for sure. And I go through these and just drool and drool and drool because you can see that one slab is so different from the others. And this particular stone, if you've been watching the quest for a while, you know that I love greenstone. It's all it really takes to let you know that you're onto it. Ooh, that wavelength is horrible. So yeah, that's a little pebble. Little slices off of little pebbles. The translucence allows you to hold it up to the thing and say, yep, we have another pebble. So, I don't know how much more of these that I need to show you. This one is off of here. Oh yeah. That just looks really pure. It just doesn't have a lot of the little inclusions in it. Okay. Yeah, it's the same story all the way around the board here. And so all of this is bowenite. Yay! That's good for us. That is a good thing. I'm totally stoked to be able to go out. I'm probably going to go out here in a little while. Hope that you're not getting it all bored with this creature. See, this is a thinner slab here. Just a little less translucent, a little more fill. And I'm not going to cut it really until I decide what to do with it, because like I say, you might decide you want to carve something out of that shape. Some of these I will be slabbing up. And okay, so I think there's a couple of those slabs of jasper that we did. In case you wanted to look at that on the way out, we're going to go do that. I think that we will pretty much call it done with this. Like I say, I just take recycled paper, reused paper, ads or anything, wrap it around each one of those so that they stay together, and condense this whole thing down into a small little bag of stock. Okay, let's go look at that jasper. Okay, these are them. They're just rough cut with some water on here. Beautiful blue chalcedony fill. In between gold and then the red, and it looks like, see if I can get this real close in here. You can almost call that some black popping in there, or just black specking. Yeah, gold, red, and then blue. Let's see. Outside and then the inside. These. Pretty beautiful. That yellow stands out so strong, and then the other colors are kind of lighter. Yeah. And then the translucence check is about that much. The chalcedony fill. And you can see it's nice and solid, so it is completely healed itself from its original rippings and tearings and changings. And just, there's the butt cut on that. Okay, so thank you for joining me on that one, and we will be headed out there soon for sure. If you feel like it, hitting the subscribe button is a great way to support the channel. The little like button too helps the algorithm and everybody else that looks at the video know that that many people liked it and got thumbs up. And other than that, you know the deal. Please take care of yourself. And if you can, please take care of each other.